Necessity being the mother of invention, soldiers fighting in the trenches of the Western Front sought a new weapon to assist in trench clearing. A firearm with a high rate of automatic fire, but small, light and easily manageable. Although the Italian-designed Villar-Perosa was categorized as a submachine gun and fired 9mm ammunition, in 1915 its application was as a standard machine gun. Attempts were made by the Germans to develop the Luger and the Mauser pistols into a fully automatic weapon with the requisite rate of fire, but with little success. The weapons were too light and hard to control. They sought a different solution by designing a weapon from the ground up. The first practical submachine gun was the MP38 Mark I. Manufactured by Theodor Bergmann, it was co-designed by Hugo Schmeisser and introduced in 1918 to the German army. It retained some components of the Luger pistol, the same 9mm ammunition, and although a box magazine was designed for the gun, it was adapted to use the Luger's 32-round snail drum magazine. This new type of weapon design led to a plethora of copycat and modified designs. The Italian Villar-Perosa was modified in 1918 to become a true submachine gun. American General John T. Thompson saw the potential of this type of weapon for trench and close quarters fighting, and set about designing an American variant with the requirements of being operated by one man, light, a high rate of fire, utilizing a rifle caliber round. He set up a company, the Auto Ordnance Corporation, and employed several designers. In his research, Thompson found a patent design by one John Bell Blish. The Blish lock functioned on the scientific principle that dissimilar metals under pressure manifest differing static friction tendencies. In layman's terms, metals of differing types stuck together longer under pressure than like metals. Thompson soon found only one type of ammunition currently in use with the US Army functioned correctly with the Blish lock. That was the .45 ACP pistol cartridge. By 1918, Thompson had ironed out the bugs of the design, but with the end of the war it never saw service in the First World War. The gun, however, found outlets in several other countries, including China and several police forces. It was a popular firearm amongst the general population, particularly the gangster elements of Prohibition America. The Tommy gun shot its way into popular culture. Light, easy to use, and with a high rate of fire, it came with a drum magazine of 50 or 100 rounds, or a box magazine of 20 or 30 rounds. The 1928 model was adopted by the US military. In 1938, a variant M1A1 with minor modifications was adopted by the Army. With the outbreak of World War II, the gun proliferated amongst Allied forces, particularly in the Pacific field. It was popular for its size and rate of fire in the jungle environment, although the ammunition was not as penetrative as a rifle bullet. Newly developed special forces and paratroopers also utilized the gun. Variants were used by the Swedish and Soviet armies. The Thompson SMG saw service through World War II, Korea, and into the Vietnam War. Some paramilitary and guerrilla forces still use the weapon today. The gun was withdrawn from US military service and replaced with the M3 submachine gun and the M1-M2 carbine in 1942. The American M3, or grease gun for its similar appearance, was chambered in .45 ACP and 9mm for use with British OSS forces utilizing the Sten magazine. A modified version M3A1 with several modifications also saw service. The MP40, often mistakenly called the Schmeisser after weapons designer Hugo Schmeisser, who only had a patent on the magazine design, was developed from several earlier models, the MP36 and MP38. Chambered for 9mm, it had a cyclic rate of 500 rounds per minute, quite high for a submachine gun, and part of the reason for its popularity. It was used extensively by Nazi forces during the Second World War. The Finnish Suomi KP31, an original design by several Finnish army officers, proved to be the most successful of all World War II submachine gun designs, and was copied by the Soviets for their Model 41 submachine gun. The British Army had purchased the Thompson, but could not get enough. After the Dunkirk evacuation, many were lost. The British, fearing impending invasion, needed a quick-to-manufacture, cheap automatic weapon to equip their forces. the small arms factory at Enfield set about designing such a weapon. The Sten gun in 9mm was created. Its Spartan appearance belies the efficiency of construction. With only 47 parts, it could be manufactured in 5 man-hours from stamped components and spot welding. An open-bolt blowback mechanism, it utilized the exact same magazine as the German MP40 submachine gun, although it was placed to the side of the breech, giving it the distinct design. Easy to disassemble and hide, it was a popular weapon with resistance and special forces. The design was licensed in several countries, including Australia, who developed the Austin variant. Over 4 million were manufactured. Towards the end of the war, Germany, short of material and time, manufactured a cheap copy of the Sten. The MP38 differed only in the magazine position. Cheaper and quicker to manufacture than the MP40, fewer than 10,000 were made. The Sten was replaced by the Sterling SMG, also in 9mm. It saw service up to 1988 and was phased out for the standard British assault rifle, the L85A1. The only Australian-originated firearm of World War II was the Owen SMG. Originally designed in .22 caliber, the design was rejected by the military. After hostilities began in World War II, Owen redesigned the gun in 45, 38 and 9mm calibers, and eventually won approval for the 9mm version. Similar to the Sten gun, but with the distinctive magazine on top of the receiver, the gun was able to keep operating even after submersion in mud and sand. It was later replaced by the F1 submachine gun, similar to the British Sterling except for the top-mounted box magazine. It too succumbed to the assault rifle design and was replaced by the Oster. Pressed by a devastating war with Germany, the Soviets developed their own weapon, the PPSH-41. Soviet forces also required a class of weapon for close-quarter fighting in urban and forest environments, one that could be manufactured quickly and cheaply. The PPSH-41 was a cheaper, easier to manufacture variant of the earlier PPD-40. Based on the 7.62 by 25mm pistol round, it too was a simple blowback operation with a box or drum magazine. It was a durable and low-maintenance weapon, and over 6 million were manufactured. Each was made in only 7.3 man-hours. The Beretta MP38 and its derivatives up to the modern Model 12 was the Italian submachine gun of World War II.